This city has stories, and so do we. It's not just a podcast, it's a movement. Real stories, real people, real purpose, real purpose. Pull up a seat, get comfortable. Let's talk purpose, pain, growth, and everything in between. From the heart of Atlanta to wherever you are, welcome to Stool Talk. Let's walk it out in purpose together. So today with us on Stool Talk, we're honored to have a special guest. Here on Stool Talk, we walk in our purpose on purpose, and today's guest is definitely doing that. Matter of fact, she's coaching on purpose as well. I had several of her players on here and they spoke so highly of her. So I said, I gotta reach out. I gotta try to see what they're talking about and see what DNA she planted in them.
We played in this tournament and Coach Cullop had just literally signed her contract at UT that same morning. When she came, and then she flew to North Carolina to watch me play that same exact day that she signed over. So, she never probably even had a UT shirt yet. She probably had to go buy one, you know what I'm saying, just to get on the plane to come watch me play. And from that day, she never stopped her consistency.
Philip had reached out and came to some of my games. We started talking, and she said she didn't have any scholarship spots, but she said she could offer me a walk-on spot. And after some summer workouts and like a week or two of workouts when I got there and school started in August, a scholarship spot had opened up and they were able to offer me a scholarship, and it's been the best thing I could ask for. So I'm very grateful.
So what I learned from Coach is I had told them before I came in, like, I'm a player, like, you don't have to be soft with. Like, I've been coached with tough love all my life. Like, when I told her that, she didn't take a day off from giving me tough love. And she was really present during my injuries. And I really appreciate her for that. And she understood, like, who Soleil was before and who Soleil was after. And she pushed me. And that's what I needed, like a coach that was honest and a coach that was going to push me to be the player I needed to be. So I really appreciate her for, like, pushing me and making me the player I know I can be and the leader, honestly. Really shout out to her.
We want to take this moment to show our deep appreciation for Coach Tricia Cullop, not only for her leadership, her impact on the court, but her legacy she leaves in Toledo, Ohio. Her dedication, her integrity, the passion for developing strong, confident women that shape their lives and even elevating them in their games and even in their community. As she is now in this exciting new chapter at Miami University, the U, we celebrate all she's accomplished and stand behind her with pride and support. The future is looking bright in Miami, and there's no doubt Coach will continue to inspire and lead with her. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So how did this journey start for you? I know you grew up in Big Nail, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
You were
No, go ahead.
you were amazing down there, scoring over almost 1,500 points, almost 1,000 rebounds. North Knox High.
Mm-hmm. North Knox High
Okay.
School.
Yeah, your experience down there, did that ignite your passion for basketball?
It did. It did. I had great teammates that I absolutely think the world of. And I also had a tremendous high school coach, Rick Marshall, that really motivated me every day to give my best, and is someone that I think when I look at coaching, coaching's paying it forward, right? And I think what I try to do is give our players that same motivation and that same work ethic, instill that in them that I think he gave me. And I'm really, really grateful for it.
Yeah. What was your college coach name?
Lynn Dunn.
Lynn Dunn. Is that like you're down there where that coach was at now from Miami?
Years ago, she was the head coach at Miami, which ironically, she was at Miami before she came to Purdue, where she ended up coaching me. So she's actually an assistant GM of the Indiana Fever now, and she's in the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. But I learned a great deal from her too. I feel very fortunate. I had not only a tremendous high school coach, but also a college coach that I think really kind of showed a lot of us. There's a lot of us that went into coaching that played for her. Showed us a great way of how to do things the right way.
Yeah, so it's definitely embedded in your DNA. You were a three-time academic Big Ten honorary team captain, and you are really on point with your academics because you were in school, so you are with your players. How did you learn about balancing academics and playing at a high level to shape your leadership style that you have today?
Well, first, my mom was a teacher, and so I don't know many people, many children that have a mom as a teacher that don't get taught at a very young age that you better do well in the classroom, because obviously she cared deeply about her profession, and she really instilled in myself and my sisters just how important it was that we give our best, that basketball wouldn't last forever, and that we had to have something to lean back on. And I'm really grateful that she really inspired us to give our best in that area as well, and it's paid off. It helped me get a free education, that I had the grades to match up with the basketball ability to get a scholarship. And then it's really helped me, even in this profession, to help inspire our players to do the same.
Yeah, and you went straight from playing basketball to coaching. Did you not want to pursue your basketball career because you were really good? What made you decide like I'm just gonna move straight into coaching? And how did your first assistant role influence your approach?
When I was a senior in college, I helped coach a high school team, McCutcheon High School in West Lafayette, Indiana. And it really showed me. What you don't know about me is I switched my major 4 times in 4 years and still graduated on time because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I think there's a lot of kids that could probably identify with that. My mom was a teacher. I tried elementary education. Computers were kind of on the uptick then, so I thought I'll do computer science. Did not like that. Tried computer applications. Still, not enough people around me. I didn't like sitting at the terminal all day by myself. And then my senior year, I switched to communication, and I interned at a TV station. But I also took this coaching endorsement class. And by doing that, I had to spend time. I would get up in the morning, and I'd drive down to McCutcheon, which was about 20 minutes away, for their early morning practice. I think it started at like 6 or 6:30 in the morning. So I would go to their practice, and then I would come back, go to class, go to my practice, study, and then do it all over again. And I think what I learned through that experience was I love basketball. I want to be a part of it. And I really enjoyed coaching. I found that coaching was the next best thing to playing. And if I could help other people get better and realize their potential, that was a very rewarding career. And so that's kind of where I got the taste of this could be amazing. And from there, I was fortunate enough to get a job at Radford University.
Yeah. And then prior to Toledo, you amassed the 73 and 48 mark in Evansville. And then you went to Toledo, turning around when you arrived in Toledo, it was 2008. They had not won a MAC title in years. What was your first priorities when you came there and revitalizing that program?
Well, I think, are you talking about Toledo?
Yeah.
So I think what I really took in about Toledo is that there was a lot of winning tradition prior to that. And I think Bill Finley and Mark Elan did a tremendous job of winning multiple championships, producing, recruiting and developing players that went on to do spectacular things, postseason bursts, NCAA tournaments. And I just thought if we work really hard, I think we can get it back there. And so I'm just really lucky that A, they believed in me and gave me an opportunity to work there. And two, that we had players that believed in our vision and that joined us and worked extremely hard. I to be able to sign a Nama Shafir right off the bat, to have the players that had been signed stay and believe in us. Courtney Ingersoll said, "I'll stay," and then she became later on in her career the one of the best 3-point shooters in the country. We were just really, really blessed, getting a chance to get Yolanda Richardson to stay home.
Yeah. Shout out
Love
to you.
Yolanda.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
her class when I left there was one of the most successful classes in school history. They just did a wonderful job, but they all came from successful high school programs. And right off the bat, I remember when I got the job, Bob, her high school coach, picked me up and drove me around Toledo and showed me where all the high schools were. And I was just so grateful because I was learning, and he helped me establish some relationships and just an understanding of the rich tradition of basketball in Toledo. And wow, what a wonderful place to recruit, because there's talent all the way around you. And I really enjoyed working there. Kelly Savage and Jane Roman were part of that selection committee when they hired me, and they became dear friends of mine. Still to this day, I stay in touch with them and love them dearly. But I am so grateful for my time there. It was a blessing to get that opportunity.
Yeah. Was this something special about the 2011 the WNIT championship that y'all won? Was
Well,
it
I
something
think
special? Did you see it like before the season started?
we were number one in the league when we went to the MAC tournament, and I think what's tough about being a mid major is you have to be perfect to get in the NCAA tournament. And so the thing I remember is that we went over to Cleveland and we got upset in the semifinals, and we came back home. And I remember sitting in the locker room with our players, and we were all devastated because we thought we could win the tournament that year. And I remember thinking to them, or saying to them, we can drown in our sorrows right now. We can pick ourselves back up and say, let's go try to win this tournament. And we were given a chance to play, and I thought, if you get another chance to play, let's make the most of it. And that group showed great maturity of not dwelling on mistakes, but pulling together. That was a really tight knit group. And the thing I appreciate about them is all the big name Power Five schools they beat to win it. They just always believed we were going to win. And I remember, we beat Delaware that had Elena Deladon on their team. I remember my office was upstairs, and I watched her go around the horn and hitting every three in warm-ups. And I remember closing my blinds. I just didn't want to see it anymore. She was unbelievable. But we beat them in the first round, and then I remember we went on to beat, you know, uh, Syracuse. We beat Auburn. We beat Alabama. And then that final game was against USC. And I remember that we sold it out. But the first sellout was against Syracuse. And there was a line all the way around the building. It sold out in like 6 hours. I remember that the phone line system on campus went out because so many people were calling to get tickets. And the funniest story I heard was someone came into me when we were at shoot around and just said, "Did you know that the phone lines went out?" And I said, "Yes, I did." And he goes, "Did you know that the guys that were going to repair it were in line to get tickets, and they refused to fix it until they got tickets?" I thought that was hilarious. But we're just, what an amazing fan base. What an amazing team. And to this day, I stay in touch with a lot of them. In fact, I just was texting with some of them today, and I just think the world of them. And I'm grateful they chose me and chose Toledo to be their place that they went to school, because it was just an amazing experience. It's the first postseason championship in the history of the MAC, I think, men's or women's basketball. And it was just a really fun and exciting time.
Yeah, we used to always hear about you and the amazing thing you were doing at the program, and just seeing around the city, hearing about the games, riding past, seeing all the cars and different stuff like that. Now, you were a six-time MAC Coach of the Year, three-peated in 2022 to 2024. How do you maintain consistency in doing great things without getting complacent?
I think number one, you hire great people. You can't do it all by yourself. I think I am so blessed because I've been surrounded by great assistants my whole career. And I've also learned as I've gotten older what I need and what our players need. And let's face it, the NCAA and what they allow us to do has changed dramatically from when I played to now. And so, that skill set continues to change. But you have to surround yourself by great people. And I just have been really blessed during my career. I've had a lot of people that they're just great coaches, they're great teachers, they're great humans. I want my players to be surrounded by wonderful people with strong character and values that also work really hard and represent our program with class, that are willing to go out and give back to the community. That's also what we look for with our student athletes as well. Any coach that won those honors, it's not about coaching, it's about the people you have in that room. And I had an opportunity to coach some amazing players during my career there that I still smile when I think about some of the things that they did. I'm just glad I got to be a part of that journey.
Yeah, yeah. And I always knew this because I know sports. We got a great coach when you were at UT, right? So I said, hey, she's gonna get some bigger opportunities and bigger offers because you're a great coach. So what made you go to Miami? What attracted you to that bigger stage? And when you took the job there, how was your feelings? Did you let it sink in, like, or did you say, hey, it's back to work? I got work to do.
Well, I'll be honest. I loved my job that where I was. That's why I stayed for 16 years, and I still treasure every single moment that I was there. I think this opportunity, I was contacted by a search firm. I ended up doing a Zoom interview to see if it could be a good fit. But the more I dug into Miami and learned about, a lot of people don't know Miami's a private school. It costs about $93,000 a year to go to school here. So, number one, it's a great education. What I've always believed wherever I coached is that it's a lot easier to recruit when you can sell a great academic program and that you can help players not only become great basketball players, but help them in their careers and help them open some doors and have an amazing education to lean on when basketball's over. So, I was really impressed with that. I was impressed with the long, rich tradition of winning that Miami had had. Coach Katie Meyer had done a fantastic job. She was here for 19 years. The program was almost always in the NCAA tournament. They had gone to the Elite Eight, a few years back. Um, she did an amazing job. We all knew that, and so I knew that it would be a position to walk into where people know about this program because she built it. And I think coming here and having a chance to walk around campus and see how beautiful it is, to have an opportunity to work somewhere where most people vacation. When I have a day off, I get in a car and I drive to the beach. I didn't really do that at Toledo. I had amazing friends there and I did a lot of fun things with them, but having a tan was not on the agenda. I will say though that it just everything kind of fit, and I didn't know that that would happen when that first Zoom happened. But the more I dug into it, the more I thought, wow, this could be an amazing opportunity. And I think what hit me was I can't say no to this one.
Yeah,
And so, I came down here, and I'll be honest, every opportunity that you have, you really got to think, is this right? Does it fit who I am? And I do believe it does. There are amazing people here. Our players have amazing mentors. Ruth Riley, who played at Notre Dame, was one of our mentors of our players this year, who wanted to major in sports administration. And so she got to go job shadow Ruth Riley at the Miami Heat and go into all the different departments of the Miami Heat. There's a lot of cool experiences that our players can do that are part of our program here, and I love that. That's really who I am, is trying to help open doors for our players. I am excited about the recruiting class that we just signed. We have the 10th best high school recruiting class. We have the 13th best portal class, and we have some good returners. And we've really worked hard on signing strong character kids who I think are going to be great teammates, great leaders, stand for the right things, and usually that is part of that winning formula. And
yeah,
so we've worked really, really hard at that. But I'm excited about the future here. And it's not going to be easy. It hasn't been easy. Last year I got the job and the portal had been open for a little bit. And that was hard. When you go into the portal and it's been open for a few weeks, it's almost like going to the grocery store when there's a snowstorm and trying to buy bread and milk. You're not going to find a lot. Thank goodness we found a lot of players who believed in us, that gave us everything they had, and I really enjoyed coaching them. It wasn't the season that I wish we could have had for them. I think our staff poured everything we could into them, but I'm grateful to them. That's our first group. I will always remember them and be grateful for what they did.
yeah. And you often in the past described, and even probably still now, your culture as blue collar gold standard. How do you define that atmosphere, and how does it manifest in your practice at the University of Miami?
We're gonna have to come up with a new slogan here because that's not our colors. But a friend of mine's been teasing me about that. I haven't quite figured it out yet. But the one thing I will say is when I was at Toledo, we kind of developed that because it was a little play on the colors of our school. But the blue collar part was just nobody's too good to do any job, and that even means our staff. If something needed to be carried from the mailroom up to the office, we weren't calling somebody for help. We did it. If the floor needed to be swept, we did it. Um, I think it was just important that we all didn't have an ego. that we all helped each other in every which way that we could. And it wasn't just on the court. It was, I wanted our players to roll up their sleeves and give their best in the classroom. I wanted them to be willing to help people in the community. We did a lot of community service work when I was at Toledo because we wanted to help the community that was helping us. If they were going to show up large for us, we wanted to be out in the community doing things like the Race for the Cure, helping with connecting kids to meals. I love Wendy Huntley. She's amazing. But there are so many organizations that we tried to partner with because I wanted all those folks to know how much we appreciated the things that were done for us by other people in Toledo. And so I think the blue collar part encompasses all areas of their life and all of our student athletes and our coaches, is that we were going to roll up our sleeves and find a way to build something special. The gold standard part was we always had the highest standards possible in how we acted, how we worked, what we believed in. And I wanted our players to have the best grades. You know, our goal was for them to be the top 25 GPA in the nation. And I believe that last season we were that. I wanted them to graduate, which we had a 100% graduation rate. I wanted them to win championships. And I'm really proud of the groups that did that and the groups that came close trying. And then that community part, you know, wanting them to be willing to give back, because let's face it, it's awesome to do that and show people you do have a heart, but it's also great for their resumes to show people they're well-rounded. And I think I've always believed that relationships are bigger than a billboard. If you get out and meet people and they meet you, they're more apt to come to a game and be a part of what you're doing than if they see a billboard as they're driving down the street. There's no attachment to that. And
Yeah.
so we wanted to develop and cultivate relationships with people that were genuine and authentic.
Yeah. And until you find a new slogan, it could still be blue collar, but the U standard, because
There
y'all
we go.
are
You
the
know
U.
what? I need to keep talking to you.
So y'all can keep that. Can you walk us through your invest, improve, and inspire leadership philosophy? Do you still go by that? And what's a concrete example of that?
I do. I actually have it up above here on my wall. You know, the invest part is you're not going to get better unless you invest time and energy in everything that you do. We all have to do that. I always tell the players it's like putting money in the bank. You can't make a withdrawal unless you put money in there, right? So, or you're going to bounce. So we've got to make sure that all of us are investing. We're investing in our players. They're investing in themselves so that they can get better. And that's time. That's energy. That's effort. That's studying film. That's getting in the gym and putting up extra shots. The improved part is some people will say, well, I was in the gym for 2 hours, but did you get better? Is it quality time, right? Over quantity. I don't want you to tell me you're in there for 2 hours. Did you get better when you're in there? So the improved part is we want to statistically be able to show our players they got better. And we judge a lot of things that our players do, their efficiency rating, you know, their field goal percentage, their turnovers, their free throw percentage, all those things. There's a lot of that. They're rebounding. Are they helping us there? Are they getting scored on, or are they scoring? We want to make sure they can play both ends. So, you know, the improvement part, we're judging a lot of different things. And I'll be honest, after every game, I go back and watch film. And my first cycle through watching film is what could I have done better? So I don't ask our players to do anything I won't do myself. And I'm critical of myself first. And then I start watching it the second pass of, okay, what could our players have done better? But I have a long list already on me. And then, you know, once they have invested, once they're working on improving and they've gotten better, now they're going to reach back and inspire our younger players and our inexperienced players to do the same. So that's the inspire part.
Yeah. And how have you involved offensively and defensively with your systems, your schematic, your schemes over the years, being that you've been in this game for such a long time, and now it seems like people are shooting the three more, they looking at statistics and they trying to use charts to figure out what to do. How do you just stick to your game but still evolve and adapt to ways that your team can be successful?
I think it still boils back to individual improvement. You know, can you making sure every player wants to get better, making sure my staff gets better. My staff went to clinics this summer when they were at the Final Four. They weren't just in the lobby having fun. They were going to coaches clinics. They were trying to get better. They're bringing new things back to me. They're challenging me. I don't hire yes people. I hire people who come in my office and challenge me in my thinking. And I also hire people, you know, the great thing about, you know, being at this level is I can hire really experienced people and people that I think very soon could be head coaches. And I had great assistants at Toledo as well, and some of them I brought with me. But I think where I've evolved as a coach through the years is it doesn't all have to come from me anymore. We talk about things in my office, and I have an offensive, I still have a big hand in the offensive side, but I also have two coaches that completely oversee our defense. And I love that. I have one coach that oversees all of our out of bounds. So we kind of treat our basketball staff like a football staff. We have people that, but what I've learned about that is that they take great ownership and pride in those areas, and they work twice as hard because it's their stamp. And what I love about it is I'm even learning from them. They've introduced new drills to me. They've introduced new plays, new schematics of ways of doing things. And they've even challenged me on some of the offensive things. I love that. I want to get better. I don't want to be stagnant. I also want to continue to think about ways that each one of our players, we can take advantage of what they do well, and we can help them through the things that they need to work on so that they realize their potential. And so, how have I evolved? I think I lean on my assistants more than I ever have, because I think all of us together is a lot stronger than them just following my lead.
Yeah, that's amazing. That shows the ability to be a great leadership. When you were saying that, it gave me Bill Belichick, how he allows all that. That's the Patriot way. So it's gonna work for you definitely, because I know you and I know how hard you go for your team and how much you really put into it. How do you find balance though, Coach? Because I know you probably at that office all day, all night, leaving there early, leaving when the sun go down. How do you find balance to make sure you are good, Coach?
Well, I think every coach in the nation will tell you that's the hard part when you're in college coaching. Because like today, I was up at 4:45 because we had conditioning at 6:15. We had individual workouts after that. We had staff meetings. We have a recruit that's taken an official visit today, who doesn't leave till tomorrow afternoon. So she was, just in a photo shoot. I snuck in here after I took some photos with her. I've got a little break, and then I'm taking them to dinner tonight. So my day started at 5:45. It's going to end about 10 o'clock tonight by the time I take them to dinner and whatever. That's not every day though. I think where you have to be really balanced as a head coach, and even for your staff, is that on the days like this, today's a crazy day in a good way. I'm so glad this kid's here visiting. I'm so glad today's the first day I get to work with my team for this year. But on the days it's not so crazy, I kick them out of here, and we try to make sure that they get to see their families and they get to enjoy the little things. I love seeing videos. Coach Fitz, who's one of my associate head coaches, his son plays football, and we laugh when we're on the road because he shows me videos of his son working out, and I want him to be able to enjoy those moments. I want all of them to get out of here and recharge their batteries, because you're not very interesting on the phone with a recruit if all you're talking about is what happens in these walls. They need to be able to experience Miami so they can talk about it. But this is a job that requires a lot of hours. I don't think any of the players, when they were going through it, I know I didn't, appreciated the hours that my coaching staff was putting in. In fact, I wrote my college coach, I'm so grateful note when I started coaching. But it's something that I love, and I just think you got to know when you need to recharge your batteries, and get out of the office a little early, and make yourself ready for the long days.
Yeah, last couple questions we get you out of here.
Okay.
What legacy do you hope to leave behind as far as a coaching, and what are your goals in the next couple years, as far as you at the U?
Okay. I think what I'd like to leave behind is that, we gave everything we had to our players, that we care about them, that we help them get out of their comfort zone, that we help them not only be successful with this sport, but in their life, and that they stay in touch with their teammates because that's their family that'll be there for them for years to come if they take advantage of it. We always tell our players when they come here, this isn't a 4-year decision. This is a lifetime decision, because if you come be a part of our program, you're always going to be a part of our family. And so I hope that that's something that they take from us, is that we helped them get better at basketball, but we also prepared them for life. And if we're doing that, then, I'll be honest, we work extremely hard to make sure that happens. And if we ever feel like that didn't happen, we're going to work extremely hard the next time around to fix what went wrong. But I'll be honest, most days it is us giving everything we have and being challenged by that great staff that I have. And I'm really, really proud of them.
Yeah. And whatever comes on your heart, can you give words of encouragement to young up and coming basketball players and young up and coming coaches?
Well, first of all, I forgot to answer the one part of that question. You asked me what's up for the U
Oh,
in the
yeah, okay.
future. And the one thing I will say, I'd love for this program to win a championship and make a deep tournament run. And it's a hard path because there's a lot of great teams out there, but we're trying to build something really, really special here. And I would love for this program to get back to enjoying not only making the NCAA tournament, but making a lot of noise in the NCAA tournament. And getting into that upper echelon of our league and hopefully winning a championship someday. That's what we're going to work hard to try to do. Now, as far as the inspiring, you said young coaches and players, I think
Mhm.
what I always look at the end of every season is trying to look at, okay, maybe I've mastered this and this, but how can I get better? How can I get out of my comfort zone? How can I push myself? I don't think any of us have ever learned it all. Uh, I've been coaching for a long time, but I still have areas that I want to improve. So I think continuing to roll up your sleeves and get better and get yourself out of your comfort zone, find people that can help push you and inspire you. That's something that propels your growth. And I would think every player out there, keep working to get better. You're never arrived. And stay humble, stay hungry.
Yeah. And it always remains true when you are able to plant seeds in those players and they're able to say what you taught them and they're able to live out what you taught them. Like we had Sammy McConowitz on here, we had Soleo Barnes on here, and they Yolanda Richardson we had on here, and they all spoke highly of you. And so that lets me know that you're doing what you're supposed to do and you're putting an impact and making an impact in their lives on and off the court as well. So continue to keep doing that. We thank you for this time. We're spotlighting you for all your work that you have done and that you will continue to do. May God continue to bless you, give you the strength and the courage and the capacity to handle what you are about to do amazing down there at the University of Miami. So continue to be great, and we thank you and appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and God bless you as well.
Yeah. Is the Cavender twin still with you?
They just graduated.
Okay.
And I tell you what, two of the hardest workers I've ever coached.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, yep. Thank you. We ain't gonna take too much of your time. Go enjoy the rest of your day with your team.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Coach Tricia Cullop.